So to understand what's the avodah in the Seres Metshuva, mamamקים, over and above or deeper than the avodah b'chol libi derashticha, which is avodah pnimius, and that's the point. What he's emphasizing here is that Seres Metshuva is an avodah pnimius, as we address in detail each aspect of our personality, our behavior, feelings, etc., what's doing in our heads. Each day another aspect of the esekechas hanefesh. So it's avodah pnimis. That's b'chol libi. That's what b'chol libi means. No, the avodah has to be mema'makim. So what is that? To understand that, the first preface that we spoke earlier about the chidush of Rosh Hashanah, over even Matan Torah. So in the middle of the Shaila, Mashenki Matan Torah. So Rosh Hashanah is, notwithstanding the 10 levels, I was away all day, I was traveling, so I didn't get to look it up. The Zohar and the Likutei Torah, upon the 10 levels, they're all one. Mashenki in the middle, 2/3 down from the paragraph. Mashenki by Matan Torah, where's the Matan Torah? Again, bring out the mile of Rosh Hashanah over Matan Torah, and the Afshar Gil Milamayel of Ira Sinai. Even though the revelation from above, the Eibusha descended upon Har Sinai. So Hashem revealed himself in his absolute unity. Still, the recipients received it differently. Look into Moishe was in one section, one division. The elders and the whole hierarchy there of closeness and distance. So the question is, this he didn't ask in the previous Maimon. Should be the other way around. We would have expected the opposite. That Matan Torah, where there's a revelation from above, that would nullify division and create unity. There shouldn't have been separate levels, as everybody receives the revelation of the absolute one God. Not so. There were different levels. If you live Rosh Hashanah, which is all about our avodah, so Nimshach Hagila de Avodah Samata, where we're drawing it, we're coronating Eibishter's king. So obviously we're all different. So there's Tzadich Lis Chiluki Dargas. No. And yet Rosh Hashanah Dafke is the true Achdus, and Matan Torah was not. We would expect the opposite to be the case. Clear? Question's clear? You're not trying to answer the question in your head, you want to understand the question. But yes, in more detail. Okay, so I'm going to move through this a little bit quickly. It is very deep. It touches on very deep subjects and very abstruse and abstract subjects, which I dealt with at great length in Chassidus, but we'll just move along, get the general idea, even though, to be perfectly honest, to explain it to a McGill student, you might have trouble, unless you spend a long time in this. So let's go. The Proteus is in more detail, the in the Matan Torah, Gil Milamayla. So again, Matan Torah is all about revelation from above. Matan Torah Ksiv, what is it? What's the defining moment of Matan Torah? Vayere davar Har Sinai. The Eibusha descended. Befrat is especially underscored al pi hamavu b'midrash Chazal, as explained in Medrash, the great revelation that happened, namely. Before Matan Torah, there was this great divide, this natural decree, not an imposed decree, but a natural decree that separated the upper from the lower, spirituality from physicality. In the words of the Medrash, the upper shouldn't descend and the lower should not ascend. Not that they shouldn't, you can't. Spirituality and physicality are incompatible. Infinite and finite cannot coexist. The most natural division possible. But Matan Torah is batla gzeira. It's still called a gzeira because nothing is a given. It's all by God's decision. God decided to give rise to logic. And logic says that infinite and finite are incompatible. So it's taka gzeira at the root of it. But that's the reality. And so what I just said, yeah. Matan Torah is bat like Zayda, but Matan Torah, this natural division, the word Zayda actually means to cut, a division. And the fusion began. of the upper and the lower through the Eibishter, and that's the whole purpose of creation, is to fuse, to bring heaven to earth, to fuse heaven with earth, to fuse spirituality with physicality. Elikus should be fused and be revealed within Gashmis. That's what began Matan Torah. K'mayim, as the pasuk said, rather than this part, the medrash of the pasuk, the medrash, when concluding this whole, he gives the mashal of Bnei Romi, Bnei Surya, 2 kingdoms, an upper kingdom, a lower kingdom, and then the abolishment of the decree that there should be no interaction between the two. So the decree is abolished by Va'ani hamaskil, I shall begin it, says God, and God descended. And then he told Moishe to ascend. That was stage 2. But the first step was Va'ani hamaskil, vayered davar al har Sinai. That's number 1 in understanding what happened about the Torah. And the big chiddush then thereafter, where it's possible, and that's the mandate, and that's the purpose, to reveal godliness in Gashmius and sanctify the world. So in addition to what we just said now, the Matan Torah is all about a revelation from above. Looking at Torah itself. Because Torah itself is beyond division. This is a whole big subject. You do a hefesh ben Torah mitzvahs. As is known the difference between Torah and mitzvahs. He explained it here very interestingly. The analogy, this physical parallel in our physical bodies made in the image of God is that mitzvahs correspond to our limbs. The 240 positive commandments, so the 248 commandments are expressed, the 248 limbs of the king, as it were, that have their parallel with their own 248 limbs. Now the limbs, by limbs we don't just mean the physical bones, I mean different parts of the body, brain, heart, and so on. Every organ, maybe a better word, is distinct from the other. That's mitzvahs. We're not talking Torah now. And there are many divisions. There are mitzvahs that all Jews are obligated to observe. And there are mitzvahs that not everybody is observed. Only the melech, the kohen, the levi, the male, the female. Hundreds of such mitzvahs that only apply to a specific target group. So there's division in mitzvahs. In addition to the distinction that for the Jew, that he is obligated and he is not obligated. Yesh mitzvahs, the mitzvahs themselves manifest in a very structured, finite, structured, and therefore divisive, not in the negative way, but way. They're very specific. But time and place. There are mitzvahs that don't apply in certain times and certain places, such as the person. It is man mokim. Sheyesh mitzvahs shetluim bezman mokim, and mitzvahs that are dependent on certain times and certain places. Obviously, it's understood that this division, that mitzvahs are defined by different times and different places, that's a lower division. It's even a greater distinction, a greater limitation, a greater division than the distinction that it applies to this Jew and not the other. Jews are higher than the world. So to say that mitzvahs address different Jews differently, that's one level of division. To say that mitzvahs address the world in different times and spaces conveys what? Even a greater dissent and greater division. You have the next page? So, yeah, turn it. For the world is bound, the coordinates of the world is time and space. Time and space are the coordinates of finite creation, upon which the grid, upon which everything exists. So what's the parallel for Torah? Not organs and limbs, with this distinction, also in place, certainly. The head's here, the heart's here, the hands are in different positions. So that's mitzvahs are the limbs or the organs of the king, but not Torah. Torah is analogous to blood. The blood flows through the body and brings life. And it's in all the limbs equally. Same blood in the brain and in the lowest limbs and organs. As explained at length in the Torah. Now, here's where it gets dense, and we're going to move through it with your permission. We're going to go deeper now. In understanding and appreciating the lack of division in Torah, as we said, is analogous to blood, that animates all the limbs and organs of the body. Let's look at blood. The lack of division in the blood that is the carrier of life. It's not just the blood on its own, but even as the blood is invested and coursing through the veins and giving life to every part of the body, even then, as it's nimshach, right, in the different kelim, is what he's saying, different limbs and organs. It's the same blood, whether it's in the head, in the brain, or the same blood in a toe of the foot. The same blood. Deep dive now, friends. This is unlike, now you might say this is the same as the pshitus, the simplicity of God's divine revelation, ha'eres, which are uniform throughout their different manifestation. It's not the same. So he goes to explain that. It's not like as we speak about the Eir L'mayla. Even though the Eir itself is undefined. Now in brackets he says, this is a tremendous sugya, so it's in brackets. We're not going to address it. We'll just read it. You'll get a general idea. We have spoken about this in the past. And that is, he's saying now that the Eir itself, the divine revelation, as opposed to the Keli. It's poshut. It means it's beyond definition, beyond limit. Not only is this true, this is the Rekanti. There's two basic shittas in Kabbalah. The shitta of the Rekanti is that the Eiris are poshut and all division comes from the Keli. Light through a film. So the light is poshut, it's colorless, it's the film that gives the color. There's no color in the light. The truth is, there is. It just refracts it. But anyway, we're not going to go into the pratim here. But even according to the shita, and that's the Ramak, as he writes in the Sefer HaPardes, that the Eiris and Lapshutim, to begin with, that the first revelation already comes with definition, as it is revelation. Still, the Rabbi insisting here, as explained elsewhere, relative to the Keli, they are still transcendent, and pshitas defy definition. Okay, we're not going to arichas. Let's get the flow, the idea. He's saying that the dam, that's the same blood in every organ and limb unchanged. This is not the same as pshitas eiris. Even though the eiris also pashut, the divine revelation, I'm not going to go into Arichas here, but we're talking about God. The McGill students trying to understand what you're talking about. What is it? It's going to be light and pshitus. What's that? So just if you think in those terms, you'll understand yourself. Become mokim. But the discussion here is, as God manifests himself, and his divine intent is to manifest himself in descriptive ways. So this element of description in Akbala, where does it emerge and how does it emerge? And the nafkamina is great, which we're not going to address, because Chassidus reconciles the stira. So Chassidus reconciles not the stira, but the two views of the Rekanti and the Pardes, or the Ramak. But anyway, it's not his subject here, so we're not going to address it. We just want to say this, Eir is relatively poshut because it carries the truth that there is one God. The fact is, all shittas, as it manifests in the Keli, Mitztayrim, the oir then assumes a form gam heim al yodam by the keli, as opposed to dam, which is an inyan atzmi that doesn't change at all, irrespective of which keli it is animating and vivifying. Light does; it adapts. Because of the tzir of the keli, what are we talking about? These are God's decision to give rise to specific attributes. Therefore, his revelation, which in essence is one God, but the one God is now manifesting differently. What this means is, to some degree or another, it is giving the sense of, relatively speaking, hardwired, relatively speaking. That God is manifesting himself in chesed, in gevura, by divine intent. That's why they're holy. We call the revelation the light of chachma, the light of chesed. The kelim reveal, so God wants to reveal himself. How was he revealing himself? Here in chachma, and here in chesed, etc. And so there's, by divine design, he's deliberately revealing himself differently. That's the point. Not so the inyan of dam. And that's what Torah is. He's continuing now his explanation. Friends, whatever you get, which I assume you are gaining, yeah, is good. He's still going further deep. To go deeper, not deeper, to unpack this a little bit. In the Yedua, he's referring back to what we learned in the previous Maimer. Again, we'll move through. Malchus is God's word, it's God's communication to creation. It's revealing God to beyond the creation. So Malchus nikras bedalit shemus. There are 4 terms: Oir, Keli, Koyach, and Shem, which we dealt with at length in the previous Maimon. In the general sense, there's all saying one thing: God communicating, God revealing. Inyan agilui. Light, vessel, koyach, God's power, God's name, even in the simple translation. But they are in detail as we examine them. They are, each term is expressing a different quality of revelation. Like we explained in the Maamer of Rosh Hashanah, being in Oyer V'Shem, there was in the square brackets. Lahoyer, remember the big important square brackets that we addressed. Being in Oyer V'Shem, even though in their own world they are not the same, Oyer is made amoyer and Shem is concealed. But we said in the big picture, which means from God's perspective, it's all Him. Shebeklol is Him binyan echad. Oyer and Shem in general means in the big picture, means from Das Eliyah, from God's perspective, it's all Him. Gvul, bli gvul, it's all Him. So this was said in the remember the square brackets, Lahoyer. Because of the perspective of there's nothing aside from Him. Unless Hasar Poneman, in the words of the Zohar, no place is void of Him. So there's no difference for God in Hashem where He reveals Himself in a way that for us is concealment. For Him, it's Kama Eir V'Gilui. We're not going to hold, but this is a basic topic of Chassidus. When the Rav gives a moshel for a deep seichel, so the Talmud's only getting the moshel. You have to unravel after 40 years, understand what the moshel is saying. As the Rav is saying, the moshel is a concealed idea. It's his moshel for his idea. There's no helen whatsoever. Every prat in the moshel is Megala the Seichel. That's from the perspective of the Rav, and not the Talmud. Okay, that's just a classic illustration which you're all familiar with. Let's continue. So mitzad the Eibishter, Shem is like Gilui. That's number one. And the continuing, because for the Gabe for Atzmus, there's no concealment, it's all him. So Shem is Giloi, and by the same token, Giloi Yeshem, all revelation is merely a glimmer. On the other hand, the greatest revelation, the greatest revelation, again, it means otherness, it's already not Atzmus, incomparable to essence. So then from that perspective, this is not new. This is all said in the square brackets of the previous Maimer. On the other hand, the greatest revelation is also like concealment in as much that Atzmus is beyond all. Again, yeah. Yes? Yeah? Feedback.
Yes.
Yeah, good. So that was Bachlal. Likewise, the four names, same thing. Keli, Koyach, V'Shem. As far as God's concerned, in Yonim Echad, that's He's revealing Himself. None is more legitimately or less Him. In Agilui. From our perspective, reveals more, reveals different properties, etc. So back to Malchus. Malchus is basically the first overt expression of God revealing Himself to hardcore creation, starting with Biyah and ending with Elam Hazeh Gashmi. Everything is relative. But in the big picture, it's Malchus Datzilis, is the word of God that gives rise to creation. So therefore, it reveals Him. The king reveals his presence through his edicts, through his words. That's how they know him, to no other way. They're not privy to his inner feelings and mind, they hear speeches. So, therefore Malchus, which is, what you said that? Yeah, which is Hashem's revelation. We will find these four terms used. Sometimes we're talking about Malchus in terms of revelate light, because the emphasis there is the revelation. Sometimes Keli Koyach V'Shem. In more detail, there's a difference between the property and the Keli Koyach V'Shem. Now, very quickly and briefly, the Inyan ha'oir. Can we close the door, please? Can we close the door? Yeah, please. Mamis, this is a hemshech to the previous Maimorim that we learned. The Inyan ha'oir mitzad veikusi b'ha'mo'oir. Oir, by very nature, which is nothing, it's attached to the mode. It's the expression of the mode. It's the effusion of the mode. The light emanates from the light source. Its nature is to be absorbed within its makar. Why? Why? Because the whole nature of Oir says, I come from there. So it points to the makar. So therefore, a very subtle point here. Oid itself, it doesn't say revelation me, it says source. So in that sense, it's the opposite of revelation. Don't look at me, says Oid. Look where I come from. I'm just merely the effusion of the Moed. So hepachagili means the opposite of somebody else, something else. It points to the source. You look puzzled.
Isn't that Gilui? Isn't that what they're...
So I am defined it now, but Gilui means. That's what I'm defining Gilui means. Gilui, hepachagili is, in the sense, means that the consensus or the acceptance that there is something else, and you can know what's doing over there. No. I mean Gilui in a deeper way. Reveal the truth that you are nothing, and the truth is there. That's what hepachagili means here.
Isn't the source of the Moir also not want to be shining, but go back to the tev of Eish is to go up, is not to express itself, is to bear an ice, to become nothing. So perhaps, I mean, I'm just trying to say, has the same properties as Moir. Also doesn't want to be. Just like Moir doesn't want to be. Moir, the light itself is like an Eish. I don't want to be here.
Okay.
I'm suggesting. I don't know if we.
If anybody understands what you mean, good. But I'm just saying simply, the light that emanates from a source is transparently saying that I'm nothing other than the source. So look at the source. That's what it is. That's all I am. Now, the way I've explained the Oir, again, this is Machlekes Mashpiyim, whatever. But we have explained the Oir is that it means it's the image in your head. What's Oir? When you see something, it's a fact, light is bouncing off that object, and what you're seeing, the picture in your head or on the camera or on the whatever, that's Oir. There's the physical stuff of the camera, that's the keli. But the picture is the Oir. Now, what does that say? There's a picture of something. What is the picture saying? Me. It's saying there's something. That's what it says. When you look at the picture, what are you thinking? You're thinking picture? You're thinking picture when you look at the thing? You're seeing the thing. It draws you. It draws you by its very nature. That's what it is. The picture, it's an image of something. And it's that something that's drawing you. So if you're looking at a picture of anything, a sunset, whatever it is, you're thinking picture, you're thinking sunset. That's all the Oir is saying. It's saying the Moir. Is that clear?
I don't think when you're enjoying like sun, warming you on your face, you're thinking about the actual ball of sun. You're enjoying the ha'ara from the Moir.
I said that again, I didn't hear you.
I'm just trying to understand, because I thought the very nature of Or is that it's, revealing, let's say, like the ball of the sun. It's too hot for us. You can't enjoy that, but the sun ray that's warming your face during the day, that's the Or. You're enjoying that. You're not thinking ball of sun when you're enjoying the heat of the sunshine on your face.
Yes, you are. What are you going to say?
Actual ha'ara.
What are you going to say? What are you going to say to somebody? You want to go outside? There's a strong rays out there. Let's enjoy them. And they're going to say the sun is shining. You're not thinking rays. You're thinking sun. It's a warm day.
Just simply,
The rays don't call attention to themselves. They speak transparently with absolute bittul to the source from which they come. Again, this what the example I just gave is, it helps. Oir means, I don't think you've heard me, I said it before, as a familiar. When you're looking at something, you have a camera. The mountain is here and the image is here. How did that happen? Because light bounces off the mountain and enters and is recorded here by your eye or the camera, whatever it is. That image is, as it's coming to you, it's the Oir. It's the Oir of the thing. And all it says is mountain. It's as you're looking. While you are looking, what are you thinking? I'm looking at the light bouncing off the mountain. It's mountain. The object, that's the Mo'ir. That's the Mo'ir. Light is bouncing off. All you see and all the light is saying is mountain. Not saying, I got a message for you. There's a mountain over there, here's an envelope, open it up and get it. It's kol metzias of light bouncing off an object. All it does is reveal the object. You see what I'm saying? So it's a bit of a tweak in the definition of Oir. Classically, and again, some mashpiyim say, that's it, you don't go. What I'm saying is, But classically, oil is understood as much of the rays, as he was describing the rays, shining through the window. And the only reason you see the rays is because you only see the rays, call them rays, is because there's impurity in the air. That's the ray that you see. But they understand that Pasha, the ray emanating from the sun or from a light or a candle. And that's how it's really mashma from Pashtus and Maimarim. But it's also true, and what I'm saying is, this is what light is. When you're looking at an object, it's the light. In a dark room, you're not seeing it, even though it's there. So the light, Dovak Ba Moir means it's bottle and it's no metzias. All the image says is the image, the thing. Calls no attention to itself. It's the pure object now known to you, but the object isn't known to you. Yet it's only a ha'ara. You don't have the thing at all. You don't have the mountain as long as is a mountain. Far away. The etzem you don't have at all. It's merely ha'ara. That's the pella of oil. It faithfully is a rendition of what you're looking at. That's it. You're seeing the mountain as it is, but you don't have it. It's only a ha'ara. You follow? Shmuel.
Yeah. I was just thinking it's like maybe it's like a person when they're saying something, but like they're talking to you and they're talking about something relatively superficial, like I don't know, something not connected to their atzmius. So when they're talking to you, that's really hepech hagilui. They're not really revealing anything of themselves. Whereas if they're sharing something deep and they're becoming vulnerable, that would be a gilui. So you're saying that the or is a bechina of a superficial kind of thought from a person, maybe.
Yes and no, but on the other hand, the oil does convey absolutely accurately what it's bouncing off.
Oh, okay. I hear.
You have a perfect and an absolutely faithful rendition of that mountain. You know exactly what it is, and yet only ha'ara. But you're right. You know what bechitzonius. It's image. You don't have it. So you know it's pneumius. Akaponim. Okay, we're gonna start. What do you want to ask?
You're saying just on this particular drug, he's talking about the gilui in the or gufa versus the is not revealing or it's revealing etzem. So
the more, whatever. No. Okay, whatever. So you have a question or a comment?
Just I'm trying to figure if I'm understanding.
Say it again.
So first he says that the is gilui and shame is Helen, but then he says
The prati is
or mitzad atzmai uheifech hagilui. So the or is megale the mother, but the or is not megale the or. I think that's the point. The or doesn't care about being about gili or. The or cares about gili mother. So
yeah. Mitzad atzma means don't look at me. On my whole mitzvahs, I'm conveying this. I'm conveying the mother.
It's shame, kayach, and keli it's a helm of the mother.
Yeah, but
it's a gili of the shame.
Yeah, and draws attention to itself.
Yeah.
When they see the stone flying through the air, that's all you're seeing, man, is the stone, and you don't even know what propelled it. All you're left is with the gilui. The source of the gilui is lost, and the shame also, a person's name, even a greater helam. No idea what the person. Okay, we'll see Beit Hashem tomorrow. A story, yes.